Adam, our friends over at Sellhound have outdone themselves. They're giving the Deathpiles and Taxes listeners an opportunity of a lifetime.
They're going to help us make some money, get rid of that death pile, get your items listed because you can't sell out of an empty wagon.
And then sell all that you got, kill that death pile. When you go over to Sellhound, use promo code, capital letters, Deathpiles25 to save 25% off of their service.
And get out there and start making some money.
Here comes the money. Here comes the money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Death Piles and Taxes listeners, this is episode 114, I believe.
And if it's not, it will be soon enough, or it was last time.
That's right. And we got some good stuff going on today. For those of you who don't know, this is the podcast we talk about selling stuff online, making money, and paying taxes, but not more than you have to.
Or we just talk about buying online, and the tax talk comes somewhere in the middle there somewhere. But we don't want to scare them away right at the first time. People hear taxes and they go, brain numb or the opposite way.
Hey, I'm hot right now. Like, I am hot, man. Those groups, everybody's got questions now because they know tax time's coming.
That's true. It is your time to shine.
And everybody wants their stimulus money. Where is it and where are they spending it?
Hey,
I've heard that you.
I know where they're spending it. I've had record few couple of days, New Year's, whatever you want to call it, on the bay. I just call it the bay now that we're. We'll get into some things later, but it's just over at the bay.
The bay.
But no, it's been really good. I mean, had a decent fourth quarter, probably not where I wanted it to be, and got listed, got doing some things right. We got our cards back, and since then it's been popping. But the good thing is, I do think a lot of it is, it's the stimulus money. People are buying stuff because they don't want their kids to use it to buy school supplies or anything like that, or pay rent or whatever.
I know it's a whole different issue with where this money's going from and what it's going to do. But is buying sports cards really the best place?
It's stimulating my economy. I think it's a great thing to do for everyone out there that wants to buy sports cards and more specifically pro wrestling cards are the way to get in, especially if you get some graded, hard to find items. Look for low population numbers from my store. I'd be happy. I'm happily to taking money. One thing that kind of perturbs me, and I'll get this out real fast, I got some things all week, but I know we're going to keep it happy and positive, and it's good and happy positive, but we got to be real too. I have this guy that buys cards from me, right?
Okay.
And for those of you that are new to the program or whatever, I kind of specify in PSA graded wrestling cards. Is really where a lot of my stuff's going right now.
And then, like I said, we sell stuff online, but because of the pandemic, we've kind of had to focus a little more.
Yeah,
I'm
all over the place. I sell a lot of different things, but that's one of my bigger niches. One of the things that I focused in on, and I'm really hunkering down. I'm becoming an expert in the field. I'm friendly with a lot of the guys on Twitter that are the people to know. And
you are the top.
Anyway, there's this guy, and he's back in North Carolina, and he buys cards from me all the time. And he has a store where he sells cards as well. I'd say the name of the store, but I don't want to get him hot and mad at me or whatever, because he will buy from me. But every time, he'll make me a lowball offer, and then I'm like, no, I'm not going to sell it for that. So I make him a more realistic number, and then he makes me another kind of medium, and then I'll just go like $4 or $5 off asking price. And he's like, whoa, you went back up. Do you mean to do that? I'm like, yeah. So I have these cards. Got them back with our lot last Christmas
miracle.
I put them up, and they are really a rare card. I won't get into why they're rare, but they are. So I have there's population 3, and I have 2 of one of these cards.
Ooh.
And I had it up for like $79 or something. So last night he offered me $40.01. I'm like, dude, we ain't doing this game. And I'm trying to watch. We had some fireworks and stuff going on with the state's anniversary. So I'm out with my wife, and we're in the parking lot with my mom and dad. I'm just trying to enjoy the night, but also I'll take your money.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not trying to go back and forth and haggle right now. I just, so I said, I just sent him I think I sent like 59 or something like that, which it's a good price for what it is. I probably should ask more, but he has a lot of business and he'll usually bundle a few. And he sends back like 55, so I just put $69. And then he was trying to talk and I just ignored him for a little bit. And then sure enough, he purchased. So it's just one of those. The back and forth is fun when you're on a certain end. Sometimes I like it, but when you're out doing stuff, sometimes it gets a little annoying.
You don't.
Anyway, so that's how. But things have been moving, and I mean, I had an $800 day the other day, I had a $600 day. For me, that's really good. I know some people out there do a lot more, but I've been listing, and a lot of things have been going. So,
Yeah. And like I said, this is Derek's. When he gets home, this is what he does, and I mean, he makes. We get into a lot of details, but he makes some good money, especially for being his side hustle, and he's very good at it. So we've been doing this almost 2 years now.
yeah, I mean, it's documented. I know sometimes we go more into numbers, and sometimes we don't. And sometimes I wish I'd been a little more guarded, and sometimes I wish I'd shared more, and that's just how the show goes, right?
We learn as we go. Like I said, if you are new, go out and check the Red Lobster bisque.
Yeah, go back to some of the beginning, and don't think, oh, well, Derek's killing it in great wrestling cards. I need to get in there. Find your own niche. If you like wrestling, sure, come in there, but don't. I mean, just jump into something because you think it's going to be profitable. Because if you don't enjoy it, you don't like it, you're not going to want to list it, and you're not going to make any money at it.
Yeah.
So,
And like I said, it's one of those fun things like I said, you've been selling on eBay for years and years and years, long before we started the podcast. I do taxes, and like I said, it's hot now. Everybody these groups are always got these questions, and I like to chime in every once in a while, and now especially the tax.
I like throwing you in there.
I know, I appreciate it.
Now I've started to say, because we got in trouble for self-promoting in some of those groups, so now I just instead of putting listen to the pods, but Adam Beesley from Deathpiles and Taxes podcast knows this stuff a lot and tag you in it. So that way I'm referring to where I know you from.
Yeah, and it's
I don't say the guy that's across the room from me.
it's funny because I was listening to something, and just because a guy on the internet said it is, it doesn't mean it's so.
Oh, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into some. I think we're gonna get into some good stuff today. This might be a little longer show the way that we're starting. Who knows?
Well, I do
Stay tuned to find out. Don't look down at the podcast and see. You gotta stay listening to know.
And we'll have some catchy name, when Derek comes up with it. But know that it is tax time. Yeah, it is time to, figure it out. We appreciate everybody listening. Like I said, man, I'm getting some good feedback. We're getting some calls, getting some people coming in from all over the country needing their taxes done.
Well, if you're one of them, we run Adam's ad, especially this time of the year, but give him a call. Worst he can do is overcharge you and tell you he doesn't want your business. So give him a call, see what he's going to charge you. He'll take good care of you. He's been taking care of me for years. We're personal friends on top of it, but I wouldn't be friends with him if he was a scumbag, at least when it comes to dealing with other people.
Yeah, and I don't know, because it's fun. Regardless if it's me or anybody, if you're new to the resale game, if you're old to the resale game, like I said, find an accountant who knows what they're doing, because you have to pay tax. It's just like pretending to try and skip over your eBay fees or your Macari fees. It's like trying to weasel a way out of it. And if you ever do, I promise it will catch up to you.
The IRS will find you, especially right now. They're looking for money.
Oh.
I mean, they're looking for money. Apparently they're sending letters to a lot of people that they owe money just because they haven't opened the mail to find out.
Can I share a phone call with you that I got?
Oh, let's play it.
I wish I could. I didn't record it. Had a guy from the IRS left a message at the office, and that doesn't normally happen. Like, normally the IRS doesn't call unless it's a high dollar revenue agent.
Oh, they call me all the time.
Well, yeah, no, they want your social security number. They want you to come to the Walmart parking lot and bring them an Amazon gift card.
Yeah, and they'll give me my refund,
Yeah.
which is quadrupled because they pulled my name out of a hat.
And because if you don't, then they're going to take you to jail.
Yeah.
But I do some tax representation. I pull transcripts. What that means is I get letters in the mail. If you get a nasty letter, I get the same one. I did some representation for this guy, it's been probably 7 or 8 years ago. And this revenue agent called and says, "Hey, we're here for about Joe Johnson." Okay? And I thought about oh yeah, I remember that. And I said, "So give me the details." He's like, "Well, right now we're showing this taxes have not been filed since 2007, and right now the open balance is $418,000. We're just calling you, contacting you. I'm new on the case. Do you know if Mr. Johnson will be able to pay today?"
Does he got that just in the cashier's check?
I said, oh, hold on. And I got into some other details, and then
Did you say what planet do you live on? Do you have an extra $400,000 just laying around your apartment?
Well, I said the funny thing is, okay, I've got the ability. I can represent this person going back from 2005 to 2016. I says, out of all of those years, how many times has he filed taxes? Because this is from 2007. Well, 2007, and he didn't file a return. We have some documentation showing that he got a 1099 for, an exorbitant amount. Because he only owed allegedly owed 200, and now there's 280,000 in penalties and interest. And I said, listen, you and I both know that that's not possible. The guy hasn't filed taxes in 13 years, nor did he file that year. It's not true. The guy's got no money. Like, where is it coming from? And good luck getting it out.
Well, my boy Clark.
Clark, yeah.
He's retired now, so he's just doing a podcast. He's done with the radio.
Well, yeah, podcasts are better than the radio.
But he got a letter from the IRS saying that he owed some money because he hadn't filed his taxes. So Clark gets looking into it because Clark knows he paid his taxes. And turns out that there's just a bunch of semi-trailers somewhere
Absolutely.
full of
in Ogden, Utah,
full of returns that they just haven't processed or got to yet.
Yeah.
And so the IRS was contacting people saying, you haven't given us your return, you haven't paid your taxes yet, when they haven't processed all the returns because they're backlogged or whatever. So apparently, I don't know if Mr. Howard had much to do with it or not, but they're going to stop sending out them letters for a little while until they get caught up.
I've heard that, but I still don't believe it because I have clients getting letters. I had another guy who, from 2015, it says he owed $72,000. He paid the $45,000 that he owed. Like, we have a record. Like, we took care of this a year and a half ago. I have the cashier's check showing it cleared, and now they're saying another $30,000 in penalties and interest. And I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me.
I guess point of the story is get a good accountant, pay your taxes, and if you pay your taxes, hold on to those records and be able to prove it, because the IRS is not real efficient sometimes on things.
And I will bring this up. This is kind of getting in the weeds, but it's also detailed. Normally, I always told clients in the past that your substantiation of records could always be your bank statements and your credit card statements. But like I said, I've been having some other issues with state agencies about reselling, about paying sales tax. So what I mean is a lot of times you're buying things online. Now, I had some clients that had to go back and prove when they purchased items from Amazon or eBay, whether they paid sales tax or did not pay sales tax. So we had to go back and actually find receipts to prove that we have paid sales tax. So I think it's getting more and more, technology is better. Like I said, you can take a picture, scan it, put it with whatever software you have. I mean, I think there's a little more diligence. I think it's very rare, but do some good bookkeeping. That's another essential for what you're doing.
Make Adam's job a little easier, and then just get you a good accountant this time of year. I mean, find one that understands what you're talking about. If you go down to H&R Block and they tell you that they're just going to file you flatly because they don't know what they're doing or they're going to charge you. The other guy down the road does business things, but he thinks that you run a Fortune 500 company or whatever. Just find a guy, if not Adam or gal. There's plenty of people out there that just understand what you're doing, because there's a lot of opportunities in reselling, not only for deductions, but just make sure you're filing correctly.
Absolutely. Find a person like the not your dad's CPA like Mark. He's been doing some really cool things with his seller recourse course. You go on his website and he's got some really good detailed like spreadsheets and informational things that are really good. It's really good. So find somebody who knows.
Well, Adam, can I talk a little Juan Soto to you?
Oh, I knew this was coming. Give me your Juan Soto.
Did I talk about any of this last week? I don't recall.
I don't think that you did, because it was a hot button.
Okay, so I'll make it. I know that there's only limited time, but
long story long.
Long story long. You're listening to a podcast that's in a long form, but I sold this Juan Soto rookie card. For those of you that don't know or don't care, it doesn't really matter. But he's a good baseball player. And I should have known there was trouble, but you usually know when there's a troubled buyer, because if you get like several messages beforehand, that's just I don't know why, but it's just like, okay, this is gonna be a problem.
Red flag.
Red flags. This time I didn't. I put it up for sale. It was a more rare card. It came back in the Christmas Miracle too, but it was a Juan Soto rookie update reflector. I believe I got that all right.
Oh yeah.
So population's low. This guy's in demand. He was on the Washington Nationals baseball team that won the World Series a few years back, and he was a star contributor to that. So he's a good ball player.
He's a good little ball player.
He's going to do all right for himself. So I'm looking at some comparisons of this card, and I decided I'm going to put it up. I think I put it for $4.99 or $5.99.
I think you said $4.99.
Somewhere in that range. And it went within 5 minutes.
And that's not $4.99. That is $499.
More I looked into this card. Apparently it was exclusive to Target, which I don't know when I got this one because it's a few years old.
That's half a gur.
So I put it up and it sold, like I said, within five minutes, really. And so my first thought was,
too low.
I sold that for way too low. And then the other thought was, somebody just paid me $500 for a baseball card.
And you paid how much?
I have no clue, but I got it from a pack, I'm assuming.
Which was probably $10.
Maybe $10, and we had that for like $12, something like that to get graded because it was one of those earlier specials in the bulk listing.
Maybe $20.
Maybe $25, not a whole lot.
And you sold it for $500.
And so I packaged it. I did talk a little about this now that I think about it because I talked about how I dropped it off at the post office.
No, that's
small town. Anyway, so I sent it off, and the guy comes back at me, and we talked about how you were trolling him a little bit. So, anyways, update to that story.
Oh, that's right.
So the update is, the guy said that he's going to return it. And I said no problem, and I'll just resell it. I'll probably ask more money. He's bound and determined that it's the wrong card, which is fine with me. He's a bit crazy. I got probably 50 messages in like 2 hours from it, just message after message, and I stopped replying, and now there's been more and more. So anyways, he opens up a return, which is fine, but the problem is he hasn't mailed it back yet. So he opened up a return. I don't know if he's printed off the label or not. He hasn't signed to accept it, so it's kind of in limbo, but there comes a certain point that if he doesn't mail it back within, it used to be like 5 business days, now I think it's a month. eBay changes the policies a lot on those kind of things. That it's just his. And I can just see this is going to be a train wreck coming down the line.
Correct.
I don't want to message him and say, hey, buddy, have you mailed that or you send it back? Because I'm more than happy to keep the money.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how that unfolds. But that's kind of the update on that right now is you're playing Dynamite, Russian roulette or something with the guy that, I don't want to make fun of mental illness or anything. I know it's real and serious, but sometimes you just get crazy people, and he's one of them.
Now, I know we can't get into a lot of details, but didn't you kind of ask some questions on our Facebook groups, and you reached out to the bigwigs, and you swung the big stick, and you got some...
Let's say that for the second half of the show. That's its own...
Okay.
That's a whole other ball of wax. That's on a whole other... So I've had some issues. We've had some record days and been selling some really good things have been going. But also, like the notorious Big said, Adam... More money, more problems.
And the thing is like...
I think that was the notorious Big.
That was the notorious Big. My buddy Biggie Smalls.
Biggie, no, just kidding. I was just going to make me sound even older and hip.
It's crazy. It's very interesting. The more that you do this, the more that people know you, they understand. Derek's always been involved with the eBay community. We're lucky to have our place up here in Utah. We go to the meetings. Derek's been a part of the meetings for a long time, and it does. It helps when you know people. They know about the podcast, and Derek will get into some things. But he swung the big stick, and people heard.
I felt like I was Juan Soto himself.
Oh, there you go. So,
actually, Adam, I went back to a few thrift stores here lately.
So did we.
And so that's feeling a little more comfortable.
We made our first stop at a thrift store. I think I told you about it. Found some other cool back there, a little, a little action
starting lineup.
So we didn't dive right in, but I did notice not a lot of board games, not a lot of puzzles. So a lot of the shelves were pretty barren because you couldn't drop stuff off. So that was our experience.
I picked up a few T-shirts. The other day I went to our little one-off Center Street up there in Provo.
Yeah.
It's called Pack Rats. I guess I'll give them a shout out, even though I'm just gonna bury them here. It used to be a good little store. And here's the problem is, I guess secrets get out or whatever, but I go in there and they have like a football jersey from like the 1990s of, I can't even remember, it was the Chiefs, but I think it was like Derek Thomas or somebody like that, Priest Holmes.
Christian Okoye.
Anyway, it's like, they want like $20 for it.
Elvis Gerback.
And I mean, it's not in pristine condition or anything.
Joe Montana.
Yeah. And so I'm like, well, that's a little steep, but whatever. They can ask whatever they want. And
Sure.
I'm looking around. They have a wrestling figure.
Ooh.
They have a Sting wrestling figure from 1999. I'm like, oh, that'd be good. That'd be a quick little pickup for me.
Little flip.
He's actually back in the AEW now, so he's relevant again. So I'm like, oh, this will be relevant from that. It has the sticker from Kmart on there for like $19 from 1999 or whatever. Their price $25. Like, well, no, not really. So I'm going around a little more, and I have Holly was there and Aaron, because we were just kind of hanging out on Saturday. Kind of looking around a little more, and I'm like, not a lot of stuff. I start looking at some shirts. They have brand new, like the Under Armour polo type looking shirts. Nice shirts.
Ooh.
Those are $2. So I get all of those.
We know that.
Go up to the counter, and the lady was nothing but happy not to be there. I mean, it was a little attitude, and I see in the case, the glass case, they have some N64 games.
Okay.
And they have a Zelda game there,
All right,
the gold Zelda Majora's Mask.
Ooh.
And so I said, hey, how much is that Zelda game? And she's like, which one? I said, the gold one. She looks, $59.
Oh, jeez.
I said, $59? And she goes, yeah. I said, I guess I'm not interested.
Hold on, you got into the red with that response.
Well, I think maybe 20. I mean, $10. You know.
That's more than what it cost when it was new.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, good luck on that one. I'm not gonna ask about any of that other stuff. And I paid my $8 for my shirts. It should have been costing more. I don't know who was pricing that day. And she gives me my receipt. My receipt is wet. Somehow the receipt was wet.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. I still don't know what happened. We just got out of there, but it was a little interesting.
Yeah.
But you have those. I mean, so you have more established, like your Goodwills. Around here we have DIs, and they're more corporate, more structured. Then you have these little mom and pop type stores, which are usually good. I don't know if it's just because of the economy or whatever, but it just seemed like things were just priced like wacky.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if this is an eBay store,
Then good for them.
then put it on eBay, and you can ask whatever you want. That's why in a lot of these groups, people get upset about Goodwill and Goodwill prices, which I get kind of when you go in there, you're looking for, but you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's hard for you to get mad, or I think it's kind of hypocritical for people to get mad. Goodwill wants $20 for this Jerry Garcia shirt or whatever, right? And it's like, yeah, if they sold it to you for $3, you'd be asking $20 on eBay. So, and I get, the volume, we always say put it online, so on and so forth. I get all that, but you can't be mad that they're selling it for whatever, and then you can't bring in the argument of, well, it's supposed to help underprivileged people and stuff, because it's like, well, you're going in there and you're cleaning the house. So, I don't know. I kind of have mixed emotions with some of that stuff, but that was my return to the thrifting community, and I don't know. I might go a little more frequently, but we are kind of nestled down in cards, and I got more than workload that I can handle right now.
You got a lot to do, so do I. But I don't know. I think, as we've done this, we've grown. Like I said, I'm always looking at everything. You're a trendsetter, man. Like, you've been ahead of the curve. I love it. We have a format. 'Cause I said we'll always be able to go back and
we'll be able to prove it.
Timestamp and prove these things. There's a lot of dabbles in the details, and if you do something that isn't right, then you miss out. Big one. I'm really upset. I missed out on a home run, on a grand slam, on a 25 times your money, and that was your buddy, Mr. Tiger Woods.
Ooh.
Everybody knows Tiger Woods. Like, regardless if you like sports, don't like sports, he's changed the face of.
He's the Michael Jordan of golf.
And more.
Wayne Gretzky's the Michael Jordan of hockey. I just like calling people the Michael Jordan of things.
Right. You're the Michael Jordan of sports card sales.
Well, David Peck might argue with you, but I'm definitely a Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen of the wrestling. Good assist there, Mr. Stockton. I gotta go back to where I was focusing on.
It's, you're from Tiger Woods.
Oh yeah, Tiger Woods cards. Sorry. I brought some Tiger Woods cards because I'm like, man, they're talking about this potential documentary.
Yeah, it's coming out on HBO. He's
Yeah.
involved. It's supposed to be a big deal coming out.
And we were ahead of the curve, very far ahead of the curve on the dance, the one about the Chicago Bulls. Like, I'm going to throw out a couple things. I'm going to get some Tiger Woods cards, like rookie cards. And it's very important that you buy the right ones. Because I have some, and yes, they've gone up, I got them for $10 to like $40. They've gone up in value. But the right one, if you would have bought the right ones, you could have got them for $50, and that was, when we were talking about it, you could have got them for probably $25, $30. They are selling right now for anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000.
That's more than 25. Your money there.
2 months ago, 25 to 50. Now, right now, today, and here in the very near future, as this rolls out because people love Tiger, $1,200 to probably $2,500.
Oh, that's insane.
And I have them, but I have the wrong ones. So
Well, they might go up to with the Hulk Hogan, which we've seen. There's the right one, but also the other ones. Once the well starts to dry up and you can't find them, the other ones seem to escalate as well. So hold on to them. Speaking of that Hulk Hogan, so there was this auction the other day on eBay, and we should have Mr. Painter come back. We need to have another Husky section at some point, but he'd tell it better because he's involved. He's got the money to be in these auctions.
he has got the
You call me the Scottie Pippen, but really, Mr. Painter he's a silent assassin.
You can't hide money.
He finds these things and he bids up on it. And then he waits till there's like 2 minutes left and he drops on me. So he knows I can't, come up with this money all of a sudden, and I'm overwhelmed by it. But anyway, he finds these those same All-Star Wrestling cards he talked about last time he was here. It's archived. There was 6 cards. There was a Hogan, an Andre, Bruiser Brody, Jesse Ventura, and I can't remember the other couple. Anyway, not a lot of cards, but they're in pretty good shape from the set. He's watching and he's telling me that he texts us, hey, I'm making my move.
It's all fun to watch.
Making my move. So we go over to watch, and it went from $2,000 with probably 3 minutes left. I think it ended up at 35, somewhere in there. The last 10 seconds of this auction, he made his move with like $200 or something like that. And he was in the lead for like 1 second, and then it blew up. I'm sure there was a couple snipers. It went over $1,000 in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it went up from $2,000 to $3,000.
I mean, really fast. So I went on the Twitter today, and I tagged a few of the wrestling community people, and I had a screenshot and said, okay, which one of you was responsible for this? And we've had a pretty good conversation going, which is cool.
Yeah.
No one's claiming victory yet, but there was another guy that said the same thing that the painter told me, is that this guy, the seller, offered it to him for $2,000 before the
auction started.
Before it started, basically, when he put it up, and this guy said that he just put in a bid, and Mike's like, oh, I just did the same thing. So this guy actually should thank us because he made an extra,
$1,500.
yeah, and real fast. So you never know. That's just one of those fun things if you're into auctions, and some of these things. I'm more of a buy it now, sell it now. I like a firm, steady price, but every now and again I'll throw it in an auction, or I don't mind buying off auctions, especially. One tip that I found was Christmas and Christmas Eve, Christmas Day at weird times. I picked up some Donovan Mitchell rookie cards for a really low price because no one's buying them at that point.
Yeah.
So I just set my snipe. I went and looked at a few things, set my snipers, and come Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, I got the ching, hey, you just won this, and I'd forgotten that I even was bidding on some of them. And
see, and that's what I don't like, because I know you talk about these snipe things, like, if I'm gonna watch an auction, if I see something, I like to know.
see, I'm set it and forget it that way. It's like my max is $20, and then it's like, oh, you need to get it. It went for 21. I'm like, oh well, whatever.
Oh no, I'm the emotional guy.
And you're in there, and it's gonna go up to 25, 30. You're the guy that's last second gonna go up to $3,000.
No.
And I'm like, well, I didn't get it for 2. Okay, I'm out. That's how I roll.
Because usually my kids will be watching, they're like, oh, buy it, Dad, buy it.
Oh, that's a lot funner.
Get it.
It's a lot funner to do, and that's I think the auctions in person would be fun to go to too. But I think it's the same. That's what they're wanting, that competitive, like, oh, that dirty SOB's not going to take my card. These belong to me. You have that personal possession of like,
Yeah.
so a card that would cost you $25, all of a sudden you're paying $50 for it just because you don't want that guy to get it.
That's what my Bill Goldberg card up there. I think it was on an auction. So I can't remember what it was though. I know there was some random cards that I wanted to pay $27 and I bought it for $40. And
Right now cards are really hot. eBay actually, they rolled out so it's like a stamp type thing that you print off.
Yep.
If you're selling.
Trendsetter Derek Everitt, check him out on Twitter. He's all kinds of over. He is the man with the big stick.
If you're selling, it's under 3 ounces. It's made just for cards. It has to be in the card category, and you sell on eBay labels. It's under $1.
Yeah, like 99 cents.
And you get your tracking. So a lot of those bulk cards that you just had sitting there. I mean, put them up for $1. Just get rid of them. You can move a lot right now, and that's a good thing.
So I've got a question for you, because you're the guy that knows. What happened? I have never sold outside of eBay. I have on the Facebook Marketplace, but I've never sold in like a Facebook group to somebody outside the picking it up. So like in a group that somebody wants your card and they live in New York. Like, how does that process work?
Well, you're usually contacted through Messenger,
Okay.
Facebook Messenger. You negotiate and come to whatever the terms are. And then you have different options, right? You can say you can Venmo me or PayPal. I'd say if they Venmo you, it's basically a wire transfer. So there's a good possibility if you're buying, I wouldn't do it, but if you're receiving, it's nice because you got the money, it's done.
Okay.
PayPal's just like eBay. They still have all the parameters and stuff, so people are protected. If they don't get the card, if tracking's not uploaded, they can open up a case, they can make a dispute. So people be more comfortable with that. What I'd say is like, say it's $70, $20 or whatever. You say, okay, here's my PayPal address, send it to me, I'll print off the label.
Help dummy that down for me. So you send me your PayPal address.
Yeah, so you have
I have one.
You have an email address associated with PayPal, right?
Correct.
So you're talking with Tommy in New York. You're selling your Bill Goldberg card for $50. Just make it easy.
Oh, it's gonna be $100 if I know.
Okay, so you're talking to him. Okay, $100. Came to terms. And you say, okay, here's my PayPal address. You can either send him a request or he can just send you the money.
Okay.
So it's a lot more flexible, a lot more fluid. However they're comfortable. Once they get that, you can print off a label on PayPal. You can.
So it goes through PayPal shipping then?
Well, it's USPS. I mean, it's USPS, so you can print a label for however you want to
So
ship
when
it.
you say USB, because when I do it eBay, it's dumbed down for me. Like I get an order, it comes in there, I push it, it makes a shipping label. How do I get the shipping label?
You can do it from that's where it's kind of you got the freedom, right? You can do it from pirate ship. You can do it on PayPal exclusively by itself. You can go down to the post office
So
and just do it. You just need the tracking number.
I don't want to go to the post office.
Okay.
So
And you can just do it through PayPal.
PayPal is
There's a shipping kind of like eBay window on there,
wow.
and you just print off. It might cost a little more than eBay. I don't think you get the bulk rate or whatever, but
You just blew my mind.
so yeah, you just ship it that way. The tracking's on there, and then it's the same thing. I mean, it's just through PayPal and stuff through eBay.
I got some things to do. I've got some money to make. 'Cause I think like that was always my worry. We've talked about it. People, they were like, "Well, do I do eBay? Like, how hard is the shipping?" Like, I figured it out. And a lot of things dumber than rocks. Like, I don't get it, but you can pick it up fast. And that was always my worry selling outside of it is how do you make sure that you ship it correctly?
Yeah, just don't set it up on eBay and go off
Yeah.
or whatever, Mercari, wherever you're at. Now, if you're going through one of those groups, that's probably the easiest way. I think PayPal takes a little cut if you do it as a business versus as a as a person. I don't remember what they call that one, just a regular folk or friend rate or whatever.
Well, I'm gonna go do that and return and tell you how it went.
Or you can just go print it off on pirate ship, copy paste your tracking number in the same field on PayPal, and you're covered and they're covered.
I knew you would know. You're always the guy in there. Another thing I learned this week from my favorite, but your second favorite, Brian. Apparently these sports break things, he's into.
Oh, so you doing that?
Yeah.
That seems to me like you might as well be playing Keno. I mean, it's roulette.
So I didn't ever know how they work, and apparently what happens, or at least in this specific one, there's 30 teams in the NBA, and he had to pay, or whoever you pay, $5, 10, 15, 30, whatever the dollar amount is.
Whatever the entry fee is.
Yeah, the entry fee. But you have to have 30 people, because what happens is you get a team.
Yeah, they assign you a team.
They assign you a team, and whatever that team is, you get whatever players that come out of the break.
Come out of the pack on that team.
And I never knew that's how it worked.
There's some that you can buy your team. So let's say right now the Chiefs might be going back to the Super Bowl. So they're going to cost $50. But if you want to get the Rams, or who was the team that really was bad this year?
Bite your tongue.
The Jets. If you want the Jets, you can probably get them for $5.
When the Chiefs go back to the Super Bowl, bite your tongue.
My tongue is bit, but so they'll have like the Saints might be a $15 team,
Okay.
and your Patriots of years past would be at $40. Your Jets would be at $5. So you can do it. They do it. There's all sorts of different ways, and the fun of that is if you watch it is they break it live. So you're watching. They open the pack, and they're usually a higher end, like higher dollar packs. But yeah, if somebody pulls the right thing, like say you get the Patrick Mahomes signed card or whatever,
Yeah, and I get it, because it's that chance, it's that lotto ticket, and you have a $10 entry times 30, $300, and the guy might have paid $30, $40, $50 for it.
But then the same is, you could say, well, if I was to go buy that box of cards, it's $1,000, and I don't want that. But I got the 30. I mean, everyone's trying to make a buck somehow, and then people are pretty creative.
Oh, and it was funny because I saw it, and I don't know if you remember, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, there's these different trends that pop up online. There was, several years ago, there was, I don't want to be careful of the brands, I don't want anybody to get mad at us, but there was like a special candle that these people would sell, like, kind of like a multi-level marketing. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it, right?
I've not heard of it.
You know a little bit. There's also
If you want to get right on the base level out right now, we can take you to the moon.
there's also this place that sold a particular type of clothing for women.
Stretchy pants.
I didn't say that, but they would do like these like Facebook Live kind of things.
Same idea.
People would watch, and then when I remember it, because I knew I did some things, and I looked at
You
it.
did taxes for some of them. You weren't involved in them.
No, I don't know what you're talking
Well,
about.
when you said I did some things, it makes you sound more shady than what you're trying to cover up.
That's true. I've had a couple clients that have sold some product.
Okay.
And we're not talking drugs, we're talking product. But
You make yourself sound so much worse.
I know.
Usually I try to bury you, but right now you're just doing a fine job yourself.
If my son's in the background chuckling, you know it's good.
You know, it's good.
But they mimic it. What I mean is like these Facebook sales that used to go on, they've like spawned into, this is like the men's, I don't know. It's like, oh my goodness, I gotta see it, I gotta watch it.
Well, it's almost like the home shopping networks. If you remember, like, I know I was a big fan of QVC, but there's a few other ones. And you turn on there and it'd be, so Kathy Terrell, who we have on the show, used to work for the QVC. She's a big reseller right now. But anyways, you turn on there and there they are, and they're selling their, whatever Jello molds, and they're just going off about how great this is, and, if you get in now, there's only 5 left. Fast forward 20 years, now it's some guy saying, I got, the select prison break, if you can get in right now, I got 5 spots left, 5 spots at $30. I've even seen to where they're like, okay, we'll take two at 15, but we'll raffle off the spot. So he still gets the 30, but only one person gets in, but they're paying half price. And it's the same, like, people are imaginative and creative, and give them this live world that they can, social media. You can, the sky's the limit, and if you want to pedal and push, you can pretty much do anything.
I think that's why we go back to our days of, when kind of this whole kind of era. Online sales been going on, but back when, one of our favorite Billy Mays, he was that guy. Like, you get in, and same thing with Ron Propel, the Ronco, they sell you these things, and they hit it hard.
Oh yeah, that juicer, it's gonna, change your life.
And by the time you're like, I gotta have that, and then next thing you know, it's sitting on your counter and you've never used it.
Why did I get this? I was up at 2 in the morning. I was, I was taken advantage of by Mr. Propel as well.
If that doesn't thrill and enthrall you to listen to part 2, we're gonna
Hey,
hit
we got some good stuff coming up.
hit reset, and Derek's gonna tell us how and where he swung his big stick. Derek, there's a reason we call this the Deathpiles and Taxes podcast.
Well, why do we call that, Adam?
Because for the rest of your life, and even the year that you die, you have to file your taxes.
Well, I got a guy that does that for me.
That's right, because here at Adam Up Accounting, that's what we do. We take care of taxes. We're very familiar with online retailers. Even if you're listening because you enjoy the sultry sounds of Derek Everitt, we will take care of your taxes. Check us out online, adamupaccounting.com. The social medias, we will help make sure that you file your taxes timely and enjoy the process.
Hey guys, it's Derek Everitt and Adam Beesley from the Deathpiles and Taxes podcast that you're listening to right now.
Your favorite accountant, I know. It's the greatest thing in the whole world.
A lot of you have been asking what you can do to help the podcast out, and seriously, all we want is a review.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a 5-star review, but if not, be fair, at least a 4.
we know you're listening. Like I said, we see the numbers. We're all over the world. Like I said, it's just we see it. We appreciate everyone listening. Help us get a little higher up there. Help us get more new
Helps with
listeners.
the algorithms. People can help find us out, and it really does help. So if you can go to Apple iTunes, that's where a lot of you are already listening, or wherever you're listening.
Spotify, Apple, all of these different things. They're all out.
Wherever you listen, give us you don't even have to write a review, just give us 5 stars. If you want to give us a review, that's cool too. We appreciate it, and keep listening.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Well, what a break it was, Adam. I got more information in 5 minutes than I had in 2 days from you.
Well, I know we hadn't talked. Some things we put on here. At some point, there will be the special Deathpiles and Taxes backstage pass, and you can see what we talk about between takes. But you would have got some real good.
That would have been worth it. There's somewhere I'd probably say this pass was. I want my money back.
Which there's always, like I said, we talked about it. People are always trying to give more information and raise money like for charity and things. They did this thing for Christmas. Our local radio stations. I still listen to some radio, but they were raffling off. You could have an hour conversation with the staff at the local sports talk radio station. That they'd have an hour Zoom call with you, and they would share stories that could not be aired on the radio.
Well, how much did you bid on that?
I did not bid.
At first I was like, well, why would you want that? But then once you add that can't be shared on the air, which can be, some people might just think might be too crude or too foul, but there might just be things that they can't say about people.
One of them was, there were some Rick Majerus stories, there were some Jerry Sloan stories that were going to be talked about off air, but candidly. So
if
that was a great idea. So that's kind of where the premise came from. We'll get there one day.
If you ever want a good laugh, Keith Van Horn used to play basketball up at the University of Utah.
Got 2 of his cards up there.
He played for Rick Majerus, who we lovingly call the Fat Man.
Oh, which I've got some of those cards at PSAs right now.
And he went on to have a decent NBA career. He wasn't ever a major star, but he was more of a journeyman. But he played on a lot of good teams.
He was like the number 2 draft pick. So
But he was a good player out of college. But he had a so-so NBA career. Anyway, on Twitter every now and again he'll just drop some Majerus stories, and they're hilarious and they're all true, and they're some are a little off-colored and some are just funny. But if ever you're having a rough day, just go read some of the things that Majerus used to tell Keith Van Horn, and your day will be a little better.
Yeah, it will.
We're not going to read them or tell them anywhere, especially with your kid in the room here.
We couldn't. Oh, which speaking of, we're going to have some special guests next week.
Yeah, next week's going to be fun. Adams went out of his way to find us some really. This is going to be cool. We won't spoil it, but you'll want if you haven't downloaded them and subscribed by now. You're going to want to subscribe right now so you don't miss next week's show.
Yes, there's some up and comers.
So I guess we'll just get into it. Should I just get into it?
Again, this is Deathpiles and Taxes. I listened to a couple other podcasts this week, and I guess the one thing I didn't like is they went so long. Like I tuned in, I'm like, I don't even know who this is. Like I don't even know what it's about. So
Well, you tuned in and downloaded it.
no, it was some other one. It was.
Well, you should know what you're listening to.
I know it. Somebody posted something on Facebook saying,
Okay.
check out this
All right.
podcast. And so anyway, this is the podcast about reselling, about doing things. Derek he's got a big background in eBay sales. Like I said, he's somehow conjured his way into. He's on the up and up.
Well, I'm going to tell you how it went down.
Okay.
So not only am I an eBay seller, I'm also a purchaser. I'm also a client.
Large purchaser.
And so one of the things I do is I look for deals, or I look for things on eBay that I think I can flip, and I'll buy from eBay for that very purpose, is I'm going to resell them. Well, as we talked about earlier in the podcast, rented cards and into the wrestling cards, I purchased over a period of several months autographed cards from a seller whose name I won't divulge here, but if you go online, you can surely find it. But I bought several cards, like a lot of cards. And I talked back and forth with him. These were autographs. A lot of them were from people that were deceased. They looked very authentic. I mean, a lot of the people. So to skip around in the story, I ended up posting this story on a lot of social media and things. And a lot of people said, well, you got to do your homework. You got to do your due diligence. You should have been researching better. This guy had excellent feedback, over 3,000 positive feedbacks. I looked at the autographs, you know, to the naked eye. I'm not a trained professional, but they look good. They look authentic to me. They look real, like the other ones were looking like.
And you're not spending, you know, $500 on these signatures, right?
Well, some were more than others. We'll get to it.
Okay.
And so anyway, so I buy like 10 cards from him to begin with. And these were all on auctions. And this is actually when I got involved with my sniper, because I was running up auctions. And so they come and I send them off to PSA to be graded. And I send some off to Beckett, not to be graded, but to be authenticated. So what happens is they'll encapsulate them. You guys have probably seen the plastic cases before. And they'll say, this autograph is authentic, you know. And so I had various people. Again, a couple of weeks or months later, he was running, so now I've saved him as a seller. He's running more auctions, and I buy more cards from him. And as soon as I get them, I send them off to be authenticated. Like, I don't sit around on them. I don't wait half a year. I'm moving these. And because there's such a large volume, I do have a membership with PSA, but I'm also send some to Beckett, just because turnaround time is crazy. I want to get them back, and I figure splitting them up, have some in this basket, some in that basket. We'll see how it goes, right? This happens from, what was it? I'd have to look up the dates, but anyways, it's over probably a 3 or 4 month period. I spent a good chunk of change, and we'll get into what that good chunk of change is. I'll tell all the dollar figures as far as that goes, because I put it out there. And then fast forward to this last week, I get an email back from Beckett, and it says, yeah, these are fake. These are not authentic. So I'm like, what do you mean these aren't authentic? Is what I'm thinking. And it's not just like 1 or 2, it's like 10, 20
Yes.
are not authentic. And to send them off to get them authenticated, I'm paying money to ship them, I'm paying money to insure them, and I'm paying money to have this service rendered, whether it comes back positive or negative, whether they're authentic or not. I'm paying a fee no matter what. So I'm out that money. I realize I'm out that money. But I thought, hey, I bought these on eBay. eBay has seller protection.
Ooh.
So I contact the guy first off. I'm like, hey, man, I bought a lot of cards from you. I just sent them over to Beckett and PSA, you know, for authentication. And they're saying they're not authentic.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Everitt. Let me take care of that problem for you.
No.
That's what happened, right?
No, you want to know what happened?
That didn't happen?
We're still waiting for a response. It's radio silent. If that happened, I'd been a little more, I'd still been upset, but it'd be like, hey, maybe he bought them down at the flea market, or maybe he got them from somebody, maybe he didn't know. Long story on that one is I still haven't heard back from this guy, right? And I've sent him several messages, and sometimes I get mad and send him messages, and sometimes I get less mad and send him messages. Either way, I do keep it professional. I know eBay's going to look into all this when I'm doing this, because I know where it's going, so I'm not, you know, telling him what I think about his mother and different things, if you catch my drift. But I'm like, dude, I need a response from you. Like, these are fake, and you're still selling things on your eBay page.
Yes.
These are fake.
Did I just happen to get the 17 fake ones and the other 112 you're selling?
Yeah, I'm like, you can't be doing this. So I contact eBay, and they're hard to get a hold of at some point. I sent them a tweet because I was on hold. I think I told how I get people. If you go to the help page and you scroll around enough, you can get to where they'll contact you.
Yeah.
And as a buyer, it's a lot easier to get than a seller, but you get the same help desk.
Okay.
So there's your little tidbit for those of you that are sellers and want them to call you back in a couple minutes instead of a half hour is just say that you're buying something. You're going to get the basic entry level person anyways. And so I contact the eBay people, and they call me back, and I get put on hold for over an hour, so I send a screenshot and a tweet. I'm not happy at this point about what's going on here. Like, so then call back. So I get somebody, and they basically say, no, Mr. Everitt, you're screwed. Well, we only cover you for 30 days, and this has been more than 30 days. Why didn't you send this back in time? And I said, well, the problem is, and I go down the whole rabbit hole of, I bought them, I sent them off, but right now, and a lot of people don't know this, I don't think everyone should know this or whatever, but PSA and Beckett are so backlogged, this is part of why I'm splitting them too, is to try to get them done faster. There is no way that you're going to get something back in 30 days unless you pay express premium, and even then, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I guess like they're 5 days, 28 days.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. And so I have to try to explain that to somebody, and this gal was trying her very best, but I'm like, not getting it, and like, well, you're just out. And I said, well, no, I'm not. I'm not just out. Like, this policy's not correct. Like, we need to do something about this. This guy selling me counterfeit goods. It's just like if I bought a Gucci bag or some Air Jordans or whatever. Like, you can't just be backing up a guy for selling counterfeit goods. Well, you weren't in the window. So I said, well, I need to talk to your manager, which I don't usually do. I really don't. But I'm upset at this point. I said, you can't help me, but somebody can help me. And so I talked to David L. was the guy's name.
Badge number, or that's just the IRS. Does he have a badge number?
He doesn't have a badge number, but it is on a recorded line, and I'm glad that it was. So Mr. David L. kind of had some attitude, and I get it's around the holidays. I get you're overworked and all that. And he's telling me there's nothing that can be done, and basically it's just the policy, and you're out. And I said, well, I'm out $1,600. Like, I'm out $1,600. I'm out.
Whoa.
I said,
that's a GER and a half.
I said, Mr. David L. that's working the manager's spot in the call center at eBay, I don't know about you, but my house, that's a lot of money. And he's just kind of like ho-humming around, and I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, I'm not just going to take this. Like, there's got to be some. This is a large amount of fraud being perpetrated here, because he was selling them multiple times. It wasn't just one transaction. It was over months. And like, I got bamboozled. I get it, but also it was through eBay. I bought it because he had this positive feedback. He didn't have any negatives. It's hard to leave. Now I can't leave negative feedback for him myself because it's been too long. He's kind of got the system worked right now. And he said, well, there's just nothing you can do. I'm like, oh, there's something that you can do. My name's Derek Everitt. I'm from the, no. I'm just like, there's something. I said, so there's no one that can do anything. And he's like, nope, no one can do anything. That's just how it is. And I said, so if I contact the CEO of eBay, they're going to say that there's nothing that can be done. Yeah, there's nothing. That's the policy. And I said, can you send me that in an email? And he said, what do you want me to say? I said, everything that we just talked about here. I want you to put your name to it and send me an email saying all this.
I love that.
And he was kind of like hesitant at first. I said, no, that's the policy. That's what it is. I want you to stand behind it, because not only is this a recorded call, but I want confirmation that I'm understanding everything correctly. So he has me wait on the line, and he sends me over an email.
Ooh.
And so I'm like, well, that's something. And obviously everyone right now is screaming at me, you can do a chargeback, you can go through PayPal. I do get to that point, but this is...
But you want to, it shouldn't have to get to that.
It shouldn't have to get to that, and eBay should protect you.
Absolutely.
Especially when they're pushing sports cards.
Yeah.
It's a big market. They might not know the backlog with PSA and Beckett. I'm sure somebody does there, but up at the top it doesn't get there. So I'm pretty hot at this point. And I write an email. eBay is a publicly traded company. If you want to get a hold of big people at publicly traded companies, their information is out there. Simple Google search can get you some things if you know names.
And I told you how I do it with Intuit. I go right to LinkedIn.
I go right to LinkedIn. If you want to learn who anyone is in the company, LinkedIn is great.
Sasan Ghazari, he's done some good things. I appreciate what he's done. Anytime, all I got to do is say, and within usually 24 hours, this is from the office of the president. How can we help you, sir? So I got a little hot, and I said, okay, I'm not just going to take this laying down. Like, I might be able to get my money back from PayPal. I opened up PayPal claims. I have screenshots. It's all fraudulent. The guy's got like 10 business days to argue a counter. Right now, I'm not worried about the money. It's a lot of money. It's a loss. It is a lot of money, but I'll be able to recoup that, or I can go to the credit card. I can jump through those hoops. We've done it before with chargebacks and stuff. But I'm a little more upset about how I was handled at eBay. And they should take care of it. And that's normally what.
And especially when I'm sitting here promoting it for 2 weeks or 2 years straight about what eBay.
Yeah,
they're going to take care of it.
Yeah.
And we go up to the meetings, and so I know some people up at the Draper facility and stuff too. But I get the email for the CEO. I get Jordan Sweenham is over like the USA market. He's on the podcast of like the eBay podcast, and so I know his name and his title and kind of what he does. He's been around some different places. Then I get our buddy Griff up at the at the podcast for eBay.
Yeah.
That he's Mr. eBay or whatever. And I just wrote it was a detailed letter,
kindly lettered,
an email that stated everything that I just said. Gave him all the details, all the information. And then I said, I'm not happy about this. I'm putting this needs to be fixed. This needs to be addressed. I'm going to hit social media with this. I'm going to talk about it on my podcast, Deathpiles and Taxes. People need to know that this is a problem because a lot of people are starting to buy merchandise.
Getting into it.
If you're getting sports memorabilia or anything autographed and you want it authenticated, eBay's not standing behind me. This is what the guy told me. This is the call guy.
Yeah.
The whole story.
Okay.
And sent it off. And then, a day or so later, I'm like, I don't know if I should. Maybe I made a fool of myself, and I probably shouldn't be putting the podcast out there. But I do want to talk about it.
Yep.
And I followed my word. I put posts over on several social media sites because I said I would. And they got a lot of traction, a lot of people talking. Some people I agree with, some I don't agree with, but either way, it was good conversation out there. Some are buyer beware, some are people who are like, well, why did you should have done more research. Some people are like, this is awful, it's good to know. One guy's like, I bought from this guy, he took me to. So I've had a lot of communication, a lot of talk. The other night, I think it was Saturday night, I get a phone call.
The bat line.
And I get a phone call and it says eBay, and I'm actually up doing some listings. And I pick up the phone and they say, is this Derek Everitt? I said, why, yes it is. And it's an executive from eBay calling me about my email that I'd sent them.
Ooh.
And I was kind of surprised, but at the core, eBay does care. Like, at the core, eBay cares about the customers, they care about the sellers. That's what makes their world go round. The people really do care. I think the training and the stuff that comes down to the customer service could be a lot better. They might not care as much at the bottom. The top really cares.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go out of my way to say that. They want you to have a good experience as a buyer, and they want sellers to feel like they can list everything because that's how they make their money.
Yeah.
But they do. So I talked to this executive for probably 20 minutes. I explained everything, went down the list, and she was wondering why the merchandise takes so long. So I had to explain when it gets to that situation, so on and so forth. Anyways, I'm supposed to be on a conference call or get an email or something here today. It hasn't happened yet. I'm not sure what time it's supposed to come through. So I don't have a follow-up. I'll have a follow-up in the future. I don't know how much of this I'm supposed to talk about and say what else we talked about, but I'll come out with everything. I had some ideas. They had some ideas. They're going to look into it, see if they can just refund me on their end. I said PayPal's probably going to take care of it anyway. But really good information, really good talk. More to come.
Yeah.
But I do think this can get resolved. I do think that guy is not going to be selling on eBay for much longer.
Ban that sucker.
And if he does, he's going to have to come up with a new name and a new IPN address or whatever, and start with zero feedback. I don't know. I mean, there's always going to be things like this, but I have ideas and ways that I think it could be fixed or helped out along, and I was sharing those with them. They're going to share them with the team. I don't know. We'll see where that goes.
That's
so,
awesome. That's
so,
good feedback.
It was good feedback. Again, that was a negative $1,600 day when I found out all that happened. Then we had the Juan Soto thing. So it's not all rainbows and lollipops. You know that if you're in this business, there's tough times. It's not like physically really difficult, but sometimes it's not easy.
It's a mental thing.
I think some people think it sounds so easy, and there's people in their basements that are trying to list, trying to hustle, going out, hitting the bins and stuff, or garage sales. It's not easy. You got competition with other people. It's not hard. It's different.
Yeah, it's a different kind of animal.
But anyways, it was a positive experience with eBay. We'll be following up. Maybe, I don't know if they'll be willing to, talk on the pod. I don't know.
Who knows?
But it was good. It's not every day you get a call from an executive wanting to talk about your experience and listening. So
On a late Saturday night.
and that was the first thing.
Holiday
First thing is I apologize for calling at this time on a weekend, but after reading your email, we were quite concerned.
Hey, boom, there you go.
And so there you go. We'll see how the follow-up goes, but don't be afraid to use your resources. And I know I'm D-Roy Everett that talks to you from the internet, but I'm really a nobody that does nothing. That it's not just because I'm Derek on the podcast.
Yeah.
If anyone could reach out if you had a negative experience. Don't just take no for an answer. Sometimes you are wrong. Like sometimes you realize that you're wrong or that you made a mistake. Own up and fess up to that. But if you feel like something went wrong or you're fight for yourself.
Yeah, they're there to listen, and
That's just in life in general, right? Don't be afraid to stand up or fight for yourself.
I did that today.
So, and the IRS might be telling you one thing, and you might need Adam Beesley to tell them another. But there's routes and there's people there to help you, and different situations call for different things. But you don't just gotta say that's the way it is because some guy told me it was when you know it's not right. Even if that is the policy, right? You can get policies changed.
Oh man, you're always spot on. You're always good. You're always a smart, intelligent guy. So appreciate that feedback. And like I said, Amy, if any of you have questions, we're a resource. That's what we're here for. Like I said,
We're happy to share what we can share.
yeah, like I said, shoot us a message. We're pretty easy to get a hold of. D-Roy at Instagram, at
The Twitter
the
machine,
Twitters, on LinkedIn.
the Facebooks, we're everywhere.
We try to do a lot of stuff. Like I said, my company's called Adam Up Accounting. We're happy.
Leave them a 3-star review and say it was good for the price.
Start. Speaking of,
It was pretty good for the price.
can I show you something that really disappointed me today?
Well, yeah, why not?
Oh man, I
Who's not up for a little disappointment this
I-
time of year?
And it was my own disappointment.
Okay, Adam's standing up right now. I have to do a play-by-play. He's got he's got some stain. Is that a mustard stain on your blue jeans?
Mustard stain on my blue jeans.
Or you weren't having a McRib then?
I was having a McRib.
How'd you get mustard from a McRib?
Hot mustard. You want to show you a little snippet secret?
Are you going to the secret menu?
Secret menu. I love me some McDonald's hot mustard. Like, I've been really good. I have hit the diet. I didn't eat anything all day. I'm not going to eat anything else today, so I can, divulge or devour, whatever it is, indulge myself. Thanks, Jimmy Pants. I used the right word there, I think.
He'll let you know.
But I went and got a McRib with cheese and got some fries, but you always got to get the hot mustard. So I dipped it in there, and I didn't even know, and I'm like, what? I mean, I'm wearing
No, there you go.
this sweatshirt is over 20 years old from Snow College.
It's vintage apparel.
And I'm hoping that JanSport.
Well, I mean, it's vintage.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's a JanSport. Okay, all right.
Vintage, but I got hot mustard on myself, and it's really disappointing.
Well, and it happens to the best of us. Have you given the kids? Have you had a McRib tray? No.
I guess that I know where we're going for
You
dinner.
got to teach them. You got to learn them young, Adam.
That's right. Go to that. I was going to share this.
How long is this McRib around for?
I don't know, but it's a
One day it's just gonna disappear.
Oh, okay. McRib and then tab. Let me hit McRib and then the tab.
Not that I have a garage full of either.
Okay. We had the office Christmas party. I don't know if we said this. The office Christmas party, and I got McRibs for lunch.
You got McRibs for everyone. I called him and he was up at the McDonald's. Imagine that you're working hard for Adam year round, and you finally have your holiday party, and you have a little break, and he's getting lunch for you, and he comes in with a handful of McRibs for everyone.
Most of the women that work with me, they've never tried one before, so
And they'll never try one again.
it's true.
But they'll get nostalgic. Here in about 3 years after you can't have one, it becomes one of those things. It's like, that's all right.
Well, it wasn't bad.
My wife has never had one, and I was trying to explain to her because I'm like, if you have one right now, it's just going to be a disappointment. But I said, imagine that you've had a Big Mac, right? And the Big Macs are only around for a limited time. It's not the best hamburger you've ever had. It's not the best in the world. But if you can have it for several years, when it comes back, you're having some Big Macs.
It's the way it works. The same.
Or Whopper, whatever. I feel like we're giving McDonald's a lot of money in advertisement that they don't pay for nor need.
They're going to need to send us a check the next one. The other one too is, and this is they're going to need to send us a check too. Is I went out on the limb. I don't know if I said this. I watched the Star Wars.
You said that. Let me say this real fast. Freeze dry McRib Bolo. Go buy them and freeze dry them, and then sell them in like even like a couple months, couple of years, depending when they go away. You would have, and it's authentic. There's gonna be somebody like Adam's gonna be craving one so bad that he'll pay you to freeze dry. You ship it in the dry ice, and that's not bad Bolo.
Okay.
You watch the Star Wars.
All right. There's that tab. You get these out there, people hear you talk about it, and then they all notice like tab it's gone off the shelves. It's no more. There was a large thing, but you have got some tab in the basement, correct?
It's in the garage.
Okay, in the garage.
I got several 12 packs.
Okay, so there's another ending thing. I'm gonna have my son Trey. He's gonna ask Derek a question about some videos that we were watching the other night because I brought something up.
I told your dad not to watch those videos, especially with you around.
Don't listen to him, Trey. He's got a question about one of your good investments about Showbiz Pizza.
Oh, Showbiz Pizza. Okay, well let's bring it in. Adam's son Trey, who's no stranger to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What's the question?
Well, what my dad just said. Showbiz Pizza. How are you related
Well, Showbiz Pizza is where a kid could be a kid. And back in the glory days of the 1980s, you can't have all this stuff that you can just download on your phone or on your internet screen or anything. So you had to go out for a good time. And you're familiar with Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Well,
I watched the rise and downfall of Chuck E. Cheese.
This was
Showbiz is the copycat. And
well, it was the original. I think Chuck either bought them out or copied them and ran them out of business.
They ran them out of business and then they bought them out.
Okay, well, see, you know that.
Chuck E. Cheese came back, but then they sold to Apollo, and then now they're might not come back.
Paul Allen
the brand
owns
will live. Apollo.
Well, I learned something there myself. Well, so one of the first things when I got into reselling is I was looking for some low-hanging, easy fruit to make some money off of, and I heard that records, like the vinyl records, that they did quite well. And so I went and got me a bunch of crappy records that didn't do quite well. They're still sitting in my my death pile somewhere. Like, the best John Kennedy talks and, Donnie and Marie sing their best, Puppy Love. But one of them was a Showbiz Pizza record, and it was 40 cents. And I bought it, and I listed it. I don't remember if I did an auction or buy it now, but that thing went for like $40 or $50. It might have been more like 60 or 70. I don't remember, but it went like overnight for like $80. And I thought, I found a money tree. This is the easiest money I've ever made. I can just go buy old crappy records, and I can sell them for a large profit. But it turns out because Showbiz Pizza was kind of a collector thing where people were kind of nostalgic for it. So the rest of the records didn't go quite like that.
Yeah.
So that's my Showbiz Pizza story.
That makes sense. I mean, because honestly, I don't think many people are going to want to hear the best of John Kennedy's speeches.
And it turns out, I mean, if you want one, I got over at the house Christmas next year. I can make it happen.
Oh yeah. So, what have you? Any other companies that are now not around that you invested in, like stuff?
I invested in? Well, if you can always find stuff that is like the Tab, like your dad was saying. If you can find companies that once existed.
Tab?
Tab is a Coca-Cola soda. It was the first diet soda.
Oh.
So before Dr. Pepper, Diet Coke, or Diet Pepsi existed, some laboratory came up with this Tab thing, which tastes like battery acid. If you were ever to drink it, it's really similar to battery acid because it's just got like almost a spark that goes through you.
Let me guess, you drank battery acid?
Well, I've dabbled with some things in my day that we won't go into for fear of getting the kids to experiment where they ought not. But I've sat my tongue a few times on those double D cells, if nothing else. Or what are them ones with the
9 volt.
The 9 volts. But so the Tab basically was a diet soda that tasted like not that great, but because it had 0 calories, the people looking to be slim in the day, they loaded up on it, and now they're getting to be a little older in age, and that's their drink. Because once you get committed to that's your drink, that's what you drink. But now it's out of circulation because probably they're afraid of all the lawsuits coming their way from battery acid drinkers. But I got a garage full of it, and if Grandma wants her Tab, she can pay Derek $20 to have a hit.
Derek and his dad might have been way ahead of the curve on Twinkies.
Well, you know what a Twinkie and a ho-ho is.
Yeah.
You can tell I've had my way with a ding-dong or a cupcake in my life. There was a time, and this is where we got in some trouble. There was a time when Hostess was going out of business for whatever reason.
I watched The Rise and the Fall of the Twinkie, thanks then.
And I don't remember if I was reselling hardcore or not, but my dad, Everett Denny, you've met him a time or two, I think. Or you saw his YouTube channel, if nothing else. Yep. He decided that he was going to sell all of his 401k, and he was going to go invest in Twinkies. And so he had a freezer full of them. The problem is, you start to eat them. So you can eat yourself out of a profit pretty fast on those. But he really did buy some. He didn't put the 401k, that's just a little joke. But he bought some Twinkies, and he was going to sell them because they were going crazy for a time. Because when people think they can't get something again,
2012.
people, they overreact and they buy a lot of things. But somebody bought them out, and you can go buy Hostess and Twinkies now. But there was a time when if you wanted a Twinkie, you had to buy it from eBay, and they were going for a lot for a box, like, several dollars.
A lot of money, like hundreds of dollars. So one of the things, like I said, I try to teach our kids, try to let Trey, he's very interested in a lot. What kind of stuff? I mean, what did you watch over the weekend?
I watched some like the rise and fall of Subway, which
That
Subway's
Jared.
pretty big. Subway's pretty big. They even showed a picture two Subways near each other, like right in the same business plaza.
Yeah, Subway was it was good because the franchise fees were low, so people could
Yeah,
get in
yeah.
pretty easily. Yeah, I have a friend up in Idaho though. I think he still owns a Subway, but I used to work for Subway. Me and Mike Painter. Those are different stories too.
They invented the U-cut and were shirking responsibility.
What we did is we were really good. They used to do a U-cut where you do like a deep cut and you could put a lot of toppings in there. But since they got cheap with this $5 foot long BS they're coming out with, they just do the slanted cut so you don't have to put as much in there, so they save money. But we invented the pizza, so we'd let the dough kind of thaw out, and me and Mike would make us some pretty mean pizzas from Subway. This is a true story, and now I think there's some places that kind of do a pilot with them, or they came out with it, but we'd already done it.
Wow. He's well ahead of the curve, and I wonder if they ever sold pizza at McDonald's.
And did you know that, Trey? Have you ever heard anything about them selling pizza at McDonald's?
Yeah, Dad also has that YouTube video. The 9 bizarre food items that disappeared from the McDonald's menu.
And it's pretty good for the price, is what I heard.
Well, thank you, Trey. That was very informative.
Thanks for coming in and keep that mindset going.
Okay.
You're good to be listening to business things and learning business things young. That's a smart thing to do.
And the other fun fact, Lisa, we just somehow get on these YouTube things and it gives you the suggestions.
You go down the rabbit hole. We've all been there.
And I remember because we had gone to Evanston to buy fireworks. Everett Denny was there. It was a good little trip, and we talked about the hostess, the Twinkies at it. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. The other one, this will be a Pelican favorite. Ray Kroc did not want the fish fillet sandwich.
I did not know that.
Did not want it. He had what's called the hula sandwich. That was more of a pineapple-based sandwich. So what they did is they put
It was a pineapple-based sandwich.
Okay, I've been corrected by the source. It was a pineapple-based sandwich, and they put it in a location, and they did the sales. The fish fillet sold like 400. The hula sold like 4 or 6. So
Was it just no meat and it was just pineapple?
I don't know. I didn't.
Because the fish was because of the Catholics in the Lent.
Oh,
Yeah, because they wouldn't eat meat on Friday except fish. So of course they make the fish thing, and they sold it a lot on Friday.
Did the hula did it have any meat or was it just a pineapple?
It was fish.
Oh, fish with pineapple?
No, it was just fish.
the hula sandwich. You remember what that one was?
The hula sandwich. Yeah, it was just pineapple.
They should
Grilled
they should put a little grilled pineapple with some ham. Now that would have been a sandwich.
Oh, that's.
That's gonna cost you, McDonald's. That's trademarked here.
I don't know why we do, but we get down the food rabbit.
I don't know how we get there.
The
The husky section somehow comes through.
But anytime you have those nostalgic, those long brands, that's why Chuck E. Cheese was because it was Hostess, like people have known about it for a long time. These tabs, those items, they're always going to be collectible because it creates a memory. And I think that's a lot with like our baseball cards right now. It's a trigger of happier times.
Nostalgia or something you did with the old man or you want to pass on to the kids. Also, if you're out at yard sales and you see like signs, RC Cola, whatever, the vintage or the older signs, same thing. You can sell that because some guys can put up in his garage or whatever. Or oil signs. I know the Frank on the pickers.
Your Fritz.
Yeah, he's always about that kind. That's why he's looking for those kind of things.
And those guys make some dollars.
Adam, I think we gave him a good episode today. I feel good about
I
it.
felt like we ran with it. We hit it hard. We brought the funny. We brought the informative. We brought the taxes. I know that's your favorite part of the section. And you're welcome.
This time of year, that's what we're telling people to listen for it, so we best deliver.
It's gonna save you money. I know it's like one of those things like you're always trying to learn and engage, but you're gonna have to file your taxes no matter what. And you better do it the right way or you're going to overpay, and I don't know why you would ever want to do that.
I'll be following up with the Soto and the eBay executive story in the next few weeks. Next week we have a really cool episode. Adam's done his due diligence. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but it's going to be one that you're going to want to listen to.
It'll be good. And Trey, what are those 2 things in life that are for certain?
Deathpiles and taxes.